The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what do we have? We've got the S&P basically flat on the day, Dow up 28, NASDAQ's up 4, Russell's up 8. Monday and actually sometimes Fridays, the way this thing falls, fun buying can start, but I don't think anybody's going to be buying anything till Monday. A lot of the street folk probably already have left the building, just like Elvis. So kind of quiet day out here. Volume is about 3.7 billion shares. So we're starting to get into kind of at least fall volume even on Friday for the markets. But today's probably not a good indication of anything going on other than a lot of lackadaisical, I can't even say it, lackadaisical. I'll give up on it. Lackadaisical. So we'll see. Anyway, if we close just a little down on light volume, probably a fairly decent springboard. I suspect that the way this market is set up, that we could have some fairly large stocks continue to push next week. We'll talk about a handful of them today already, but far too many people going short the strongest stocks. And that generally doesn't mean that these things are over until they blow all those shorts out. So we'll talk about stocks today with massive short sale numbers on them and why they may be right eventually. My guess is that for the most part, just think of Tesla. For every day that Tesla has been down like this, how many days has it rerun because of the massive 30 or 40% short sales on it? That may be finally this one. It may have found the silver bullet, getting rid of Musk at Tesla. But for the most of these other companies, they don't have that big of bullseye on the side of them. But we'll get to a lot of them like that. As I said, we wanted to take a look at that. Dollar index was almost at 95 early in the day. I think it got to like 94, 96 or something. Where was it at in here? Printing 94.74 right now, but still up into this trading range. Got back into this uptrend line that literally goes back to, what is that? Looks like the now I guess it looks like about 2 p.m. on Fed Day, and this thing's been going up anyway. There's a fairly decent trend line. We came back down to it today, and it's still moving higher. A lot of resistance at 95, and a lot of people probably went after it short when it got right close to 95. But my guess is those guys are going to get squeezed out. Certainly looks like the major people, the invisible hands folk, don't like the dollar coming down too far or going up too far. It looks like they want to try to pin this thing around 95. I also think that the way this is set up, we could have a print at 3,000 on the S&P cash before the end of next week. And that's just these big stocks. And that's why we're going to go back and talk about a handful of them. Plus, a couple of them look like they're ready to start squeezing some people. We had one start moving today. We'll talk about that in the tech industry. One that already moved, one that's starting to move. So we got a handful of a lot of these stocks. And earnings, they're not going to come soon enough to knock this market down, I think, next week. There's probably some indecision. I know it's kind of weird. Market's kind of long in the tooth. We're probably going to be, a lot of people are going to say we're we need a decent pullback. But man, I would love that if everybody wasn't so miserably short on some of these big leaders. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a few other things. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can also email me at path@tfnn.com.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And on this day in 1996, a federal grand jury indicts famous or infamous computer hacker Kevin Mitnick, accused him of stealing millions of dollars in software in an elaborate hacking spree during more than 2 years. That he was a fugitive before his capture last year. I guess this was written then last year in North Carolina. A computer hacker who made a great deal of money. He figured out how to rig these giveaways on like phone calls. There was always a radio station in LA that would give away a car, once a year, twice a year, something like that. He figured out how to work the phone system so that he could get every one of the lines and just wait until they picked up the one that he was on and answer and win a car. He did that in many large cities. He would sell the car, get the cash, and move on. There were some other things like that that worked on basically the same principle. That is scamming these awards, rewards of radio stations. He did some other stuff, though, but mostly to embarrass some companies. And if I'm remembering this right, what he did was go in, copy a bunch of source code from AT&T, and then post it on a college website. And AT&T called up a certain president and his attorney general at the time, Janet El Reno, and said that this guy had stolen $350 million worth of software. Well, it's not like they had $350 million of software. He made a copy of something and put it on the line, online. And yes, did he violate the law? Yes. The problem is that the FBI and the Justice Department probably violated as many laws or more after they caught him. I think you can make a fairly decent case that people in Gitmo were treated better than him for the first year. They didn't allow him to talk to anybody, including attorneys, against his civil rights. He ended up going to jail for a number of years, but got out way early when all this stuff started to come out. But, it was always interesting to me. I met him a couple of times. Very interesting dude. We had a very big love for the Rockford Files, and talked about that. I sat next to him on a couple of flights going back and forth between the coasts. We'll be back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Monday, September 24th, TFNN is launching a new updated version of our website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, and starting Monday, you'll be able to experience the new and improved TFNN website. If you're a current subscriber, don't worry, your subscription will be automatically transferred. The new TFNN.com will allow much easier access to all your account and subscription information. Get ready for the new TFNN.com, educating investors. Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Oh, okay. I ate many times at the little little diner out there in that same parking lot where they filmed that. The Beachcomber is what it was called for years. I don't know what it's called now. I hear it's changed hands, but very interesting. The space for his little mobile home is still there too. But what a great show. What a great guy. Someone brought up my stories about living on the Ohio River, which I did on my boat for about 7 years. And I was gone half the time. So it made a lot of sense not having to take care of a house, just be where I wanted to be when I got back from all my travels. But right next to me was a boat called the Double Shot. And it was SCHOTT for Marge Shot. But the first year, maybe second year I was down there, she, for some reason, would go down there and start drinking heavily. And she had a phone down there. I don't know if it was a cell phone or it was just cordless. But, about 11:30, about midnight, there'd be, Lou, you got to get me a man, Lou. And that was Lou Piniella, the manager of the Red Sox at the time, or not Red Sox, of the baseball team at the time. And she had that little dog. She brought it with her everywhere, Shotsky. And it was always fun because she'd bring it to the ballpark and it'd run all over the ballpark and poop all over it. But she was an interesting lady from a different time, as they like to say. Okay, so Intel today had a nice big candle out here. What's going on? Well, everybody's been saying that they've had production problems. This is the, as we say, the narrative was that Intel had problems and they couldn't get enough chips out, and it wasn't because they had a lot of demand. It's just they couldn't get chips out. Well, they said, no, we're pretty much making what we want. What we didn't see is the huge demand, especially on the server side of the business. They said it's going to be very hard for them to ramp up for the demand that they are getting orders for the next year. That is pretty much the big move you see today that got up to 47.75. There's been a concerted effort this year to beat on Intel from the beginning of the year when there was supposed to be all these vulnerabilities in the chips themselves. And the answer is yes, is there a vulnerability? But no, it's not easy to actually implement. Everybody has a feeling that these things are just instantaneously. This is one that kind of reminds me of those Ocean 11 movies, over elaborate. You got to have 15 different people with 15 different um, skill sets, everything else. And of course, to this date, we still don't have one recorded hack that actually used that technique that came out in February. But man, if people beat on this one. Now, kind of a little bit of different story, but they did say that the problem that they're going to have is meeting demand for the very low end of the market. And if you have listened to the show before, we talked about how Intel makes its money. It can sell one chip in the server business and make the same amount of profit that it can selling 200 of the low-end consumer chips, or even 500 of the low-end consumer chips. So they're not really that bent out of shape. That the products that they mostly can't get to market right now are the low end of the market chips. The other one, mid-market, like i3, i5, i7, i9s, you can certainly get them. I can call up and order 100 chips today from Newegg. So that's not it. The server chips, they're doing more than they forecast in the last two earnings calls. So things have never been this bad. But man, have people been on the stock, I think, to beat it down so that they can either cover if they're short or buy it at a lower price. But I never liked the huge upside that it went to, or the downside. Probably not a lot of reality there. But if you're looking at Intel, they came out and said everything's fine. But you know what? Those low-end chips, we're not making enough, and it may be hard to actually make enough. But again, as long as they can sell one server chip, they may make the same amount of money as 500 PCs. And of course, for them, making one, selling one, always cheaper than making 500. So just keep an eye on it. It's just a lot of narrative and not a lot of facts behind it. Still preeminent manufacturer of processors. AMD, of course, its competitor, has kind of come off the top with a little bit of zest today. And I think that may be a little bit part of this too. It has confirmed a double repo pattern today. And that's kind of way that these things exactly should work. If you're interested in that pattern, I talk about it from time to time. It's not that it works a lot or that it even comes up a lot. It sets up a lot, but it doesn't confirm. This one actually is a confirming pattern and would suggest that you're probably going to come back to about 25 bucks on AMD. I just never have understood AMD because it's the second banana in processors and second banana in video cards both. And speaking of big movers, NVIDIA has been up 12 bucks or 13 bucks today. And it has got some juice compared to the last few weeks. And on a Friday, this is up on almost 14 million shares right now. That's going to go up against the 10 million share high on September 4th. And as I led the show off, I talked about what I thought was going to be the issue, and that is far too many people being short these leader stocks without a very good signal out here to pull the trigger and be short. But not only that, just, monster short sales on this thing. You've got, what is it? 13.5 million shares short on NVIDIA. And, it continues to be one of these stocks where it has a lot of volume, it has a lot of shorts, but they keep piling on. In NVIDIA, this thing is almost perennially at least 1 out of 5 shares traded each day is a short sale. Since it got through about 250, they've been laying off a little bit, but it still comes back. We'll talk about Apple. We'll even go back to Intel. We'll look at these short positions because I think they're very telling for next week.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary Power Law Vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Question in the den about Snap. It's NAP. This thing, it needs to close above 850, or it's got bigger problems than we think. That should have leveled out right there on price and volume. Short interest still huge, 25-30% per day, and it's got overall a 25% short interest in it. But I don't know. There's some stories I brought up, put in the den earlier this morning that are problematic for it. and that is that many of the companies involved in ad sales and aggregating those sales to people like Snap and the rest of the market for internet, social media kind of stocks is under investigation now. And that question is that going to cost a lot more for these guys? And that seems to be the overwhelming thing, is that and no one wants anybody involved in legal action. Tesla is the poster child for that today. Lots of short sales, but bad news has broken this thing down. It should have closed back up and really started running. Tried a couple of times today. I was watching it, but not much else going on. What else do we have? AXTA. What about that? AXTA. Yeah, thing looks fairly decent. 48.92, 48.92. Just need to close above 28.92 today. That looks pretty good. Your downside risk is to 28.04, but I don't think this thing's going to get there. It's either going to jump the creek lower or it's going to start running higher now, but very, very good looking pattern. To question about MU. Again, these memory companies have two problems. One, there is going to be a shortage of processors, a little bit anyway. The second part is that the traditional memory that these guys sold is absolutely crashing in pricing. I can get 250 gigabyte SSD drives for $40 today. I think that's what they were. Let me go back here and look. I mean, these things are, what, a tenth of the price 2 years ago? Where's it at here? It's going to be in here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, Amazon has 240 gigabyte Crucial MLC NAND SAT 2.5 drives for $38. So, I mean, relative to a spinning drive, these things are 10 times faster. They'll make a Volkswagen Beetle perform like a Lamborghini in comparison, because that's generally the slowest thing you have on your machine is disk access. And secondarily, it's memory. But I've been looking at 2 terabyte drives for in the neighborhood of, I think I saw one for $250. So memory is, maybe these things start bouncing, but right now there is a ton of memory to be had. There's new manufacturing in both in China and in Taiwan for the older type of memory. Now, both Micron and Intel are really getting busy on trying to get into this new X-Point stuff, but it's probably going to be the first quarter before that stuff really starts pushing and making them a lot of money. My guess is it will make them a lot of money. You just need to probably make it through the next 3 to 6 months on Micron and Intel. These things are probably going to turn a big head. But again, older technology stuff is just hard. Now, Micron's big claim to fame right now is they're making a lot of money for the new DDR6 memory that goes on NVIDIA and AMD graphics cards. That's a bonanza, but they only have 2 customers. So it's kind of hard for them to beat those customers up too much for the most part. But I'm just thinking that you got a while for Micron to settle. I would like for this thing to come back to the 37.52, the February 9th low, and get in there with lighter volume. The problem is you got to 40.68 with about the same volume as that low. So I think you can get back out here one more time to 37.52. My guess is that is going to be where you want to plant your flag for a long-term operation on Micron for next year as they go to MEM resistor technology and away from transistor technology. But that's going to take Intel. That's kind of why Intel's got some production issues and some other things. As they change to that stuff, both of them are going to have huge margins in those products. AAOI, which is, of course, a optical company. This is back to where we bought it and made a bunch of money. Earlier this year, I think we bought this right back here on an option and cleaned up in this low. I think we bought it at like 24, which I think was back here, and the thing ran up to like 33 over a handful of days. But I think we bought the 25s out of the money for like $1, and it went to $5 pretty quick. That was one of the better option plays of the year. But there were a whole bunch of them right around that time frame. A lot of times you'll make a lot of money in a very small amount of time in the market, and certainly this was a planting season. We were raking in the cash fairly quickly. The lettuce of the market. Anyway, this thing's down on a fairly decent gap down. You've got two gaps. What you would want to find is the third gap down, and if you do get a third gap down, especially around $22, that is where you want to start watching for AAOI. Probably not going to take off right away, but it may need a little consolidation. But one more gap down would be probably the most bullish thing the stock could do. It's always feast and famine. So one of the things you have to do is figure out that there is a feast coming. These guys are in the optical business, and you sell a lot because everybody's expanding. These guys I think we explained it in the Tech Insider and some other avenues. But the real reason that these things trade so well is that, they have, when the companies that buy stuff from them, they need a ton. We need 500, we need 1,000 miles of fiber optic cable, and we need all the stuff that goes with it. And, that contract's going to be, I don't know, $50 million or $100 million. And they end up in these big contracts, make a lot of money. And then when no one's buying anything, of course, they come right on back down, so they look like a heartbeat. So the thing to do is figure out who's getting ready to build stuff and who's not. The big run-up in AAOI was Microsoft and Amazon built cable across the Pacific.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks. Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And what else do we have going on out here? Well, we're up about 1.5 points on the S&P cash. Nasdaq's up 2, Dow's up 27. The old saying, don't be short a quiet market. I think we could, if you're looking for a short position, the thing that you would love best is this market to go up and run a lot of short positions out, squeeze them out, and then put your short position in. What else do we have that I want to look at? Want to look at the XLE. We talked a little bit about that. Did I get to everything? Okay. AOI, I want one more gap down to 2254, so we got that. Question on the SMHs. I wanted to get to Apple first because we've been talking about these monster short positions. Eventually, you're right, like Apple, like Tesla today. But, even yesterday, Apple went up significantly, but still had 14%, which is pretty good for such a large, big cap stock on a single day. Of course, a couple of days ago, you had 27%. And as soon as they had 27%, the next day, of course, they run the stock higher. And that kind of continues on until the stock literally can't stand it any longer and then, drops on earnings or some news and gaps back down. But the biggest problem I have is that you still have 47 million shares short in Apple. And anytime the market starts going down, all they got to do is squeeze it. Phony upgrades, everything else. I agree, it looks weak. And there's a lot of reasons to think this thing could fall. But one of the things I figure most of all is going to be that those 47 million shares, I'm going to say half of them are going to have to go away before this thing can crack. It may pull back a little bit. It may be light. It may do everything, but if you're thinking the wheels fall off the wagon, it is probably not going to do that without, the death of a CEO or, you've got to have something actually rather ridiculous. Tesla, of course, when we look at it, do want to bring up the numbers on it. When I talk about stocks having low short positions, it's generally when everybody gives up. I want to show you this because I thought it was very interesting, and I saw it last night. Still has a huge short position, but you had 70% of all all trades on the 21st were short positions. Were trades going in. 7 out of every 10 shares got started as a short position. Didn't mean those people went home that day short. But I think that may be some kind of record that I've ever seen. The next day, 26%. The next day, 50%. But then it's 20%. And then what happens yesterday before the fall? It's down to about 12%. And that's generally on the daily things that you see these things coming. I didn't see anything in the chart that would bring it back and make me want to pull the trigger short, because they've had a consistent 27, 28% short interest level. And in fact, still have 34 million shares short in this thing. Now, I did posit my opinion, and that is that the thing that Musk may want to do the most is get out of Tesla before the curtain falls, because this thing needs $15 billion just to do what he said they were going to do, just to grow, just to actually make what they want. He may have promised a lot, and I will use the term from Top Gun. Yeah, your cash and checks, your rear end can't. No, you're writing checks, your rear end can't cash, boy. And that's kind of what happened. He's got a great company that's a CEO over there that can remain non-public for a long time in SpaceX. But they're just, these boring companies, all these other flaky ideas are big pie in the sky things. He's got one that's going to be profitable, but the other two are not. But you know what? The best thing could be that he gives this tar baby off to somebody else, and they get stuck with the stink. But as I've said before, this is a $40 company on paper, at best, $40 company. But guess what? It's impossible when you get these kind of short positions to not get constantly barraged and hit for forever. These tend to play out when they're this massively short, more like Sears, which we talked about yesterday, SHLD, right? And these things can hang around forever. In fact, BlackBerry had earnings today, and that wasn't very different than that. This got down to 82 cents today in Sears. BlackBerry, why is it not picking it up here? Isn't it BB now? I probably didn't change the ticker symbol on it. Probably didn't want to. This thing, of course, has got a monster short position, so let's take a quick look at this real quick. Is it just B? What was it? I can't remember now. Huge short position. I just can't bring it up at the moment. This got up to $12 today, gave, 50 cents, 66 cents back already. But this is literally no different than Sears. It's going to take 2 or 3 years for lawyers and executives to rape this company until there's nothing left, and then it'll all fall like a souffle in a year or 2 years or 6 months. And you're never exactly sure what it's going to be. Like Tesla today, him actually getting nailed. Never really heard a lot of people talking about it potentially happening. But certainly was very interesting to see that as soon as everybody quit shorting the stock yesterday, it fell the next day, it just seems like that's the way it happens. Had a lot of Warren Zevon, Lawyers, Guns, and Money. Don't know which one he's referring to. He had so many good songs. Okay. Okay. Got through all my emails. GW Pharmaceuticals. Yeah, you got a little bit of dark cloud cover on it, but I just think that, this thing had the big moves and stuck with it. Got to 179.65 yesterday, and you got a little pullback, but it's not much volume today, so I wouldn't get too excited about it. Oh, we got one more segment. I've got a little bit of an emergency today, so I won't be sitting in with Tom O'Brien in the next half hour. I'll be back next week, and we'll do that Tech Insider segment again. But you'll just get to listen to the little bit more of Tom O'Brien acapella.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Got a question about Himax and Taiwan Semiconductor, and actually two really different kinds of companies. So they're kind of apples and oranges. The question kind of assumes that both of them do the same thing. Taiwan Semiconductor makes chips for everybody else, and Himax, HIMX, they don't make anything themselves. They design a lot of chips, but those chips are all kind of lower margin products that other people buy. They're not an Intel chip that gets an average of 100 or 500% and maybe a server type application for their chips. This stuff is all a lot of what engineers tend to call it glue. I mean, not the cheapest stuff like resistors and capacitors. What they call passive components. This stuff does stuff. It's just you can't make huge margins on it, and that's probably the difference. There's only a handful of companies that can continue to make high margins. Intel has done it forever. Apple has done it since 2003, and the hardware is just a very tough thing. And if you find the right business, like Intel or like NVIDIA, it's like printing money. If you are making things that everybody else makes and someone else can make for $1 cheaper somewhere, like a liquid crystal display. I mean, this stuff's been around for 50 years. It's already gotten down to its single chip solutions, LED drivers. This stuff's all like quarter and 50-cent part prices. The most you're going to make on a 50-cent part is 50 cents, and that is if it was made for free out of air, and it's not. So low dollar stuff, not high margins. You're never going to see the kind of movement that you see in something else. Taiwan Semiconductor, they make good money, but they got very high-end production capacity. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here Monday. Same bat channel, same at
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.